everybody, how are you all doing? In this video, we're going to discuss the present and past forms as well as the meaning or the functions of must, need, should, and had better. By the way, if you're interested in other modal verbs such as may, might, can, could, or was able to, you should check out another video I made on them. It's in my channel. Just go there and have a look at it. Check it out. Okay, let's begin with must. As it often happens with modal verbs, the most important thing about them is that we use them in the right context. So we know the meaning that we are adding to the sentence by using a particular modal verb. So let's have a look at some contexts in which we would use must. You've been working on this all day. You must be exhausted. Everyone's talking about the party. I'm sorry I missed it. It must have been awesome. You must apologize this very instant. I mean it. And I must leave by 8, otherwise the traffic will be dreadful. What do I need you to do? I'd like you to have a look at these meanings, these potential functions, expressing probability, either about a present or a past event, expressing a command, an order, some sort of obligation, call it however you'd like, or necessity. Um, I need you to think about each of the examples that I've listed here and try to match them with one of the meanings in the clouds above. Does the verb must express a certain degree of probability? Is it about the present or the past? Does it express an order, a command? Does it express something that is necessary? What exactly is it that it adds to that sentence? What I suggest is that you challenge yourself a bit. Press pause, think about how you would match the sentences to the meanings, and then hit play again, because I'm going to discuss each of these contexts in its turn, and we'll clarify what it means as well as how we constructed the structure with must there. So we're going to look at the present and past forms, just like I said at the beginning of this presentation. So challenge is now on. Press pause, think about how you would match the meanings with the context, and then hit play to see the solution and discuss it with me. Here we go. In the first two examples, the speaker wants to express a certain degree of probability about a present event or about a past event. It's based on a logical deduction, isn't it? The fact that you have been working on something all day indicates to me that you are tired now. I can't tell for sure. Modal verbs cannot express 100% certainty, but I am about 80–90% sure that you are exhausted now. So this is why it's called a probability, a logical deduction. When it comes to the past, once again, I wasn't there. I wasn't at a party. I can't tell you for certain that it was an amazing party, an amazing event. But based on the fact that people are still talking about it, I can make this logical deduction and assume that it was awesome. Again, I'm not 100% sure. No modal verb can help me express 100% certainty. I am just expressing a likelihood, 80%, 90% certain that it was an amazing party. Now, for the next one, this is probably the most discussed meaning of the modal verb must. It's the command, it's the order, it's the obligation, and we can actually replace it with have to, just as we can in the last example. I must leave by 8, I have to leave by 8, I need to leave by 8. They all express the idea of necessity. And it is a bit different from the previous example, isn't it? It's not a command, it's not an order. I'm not obliged to leave by 8, but I think it's necessary for me to do that because I don't want to be stuck in traffic for hours on end. Now, when it comes to the proper form, as you can easily see in the present, must is very easy. We have must be exhausted, must plus the infinitive, must apologize, once again, must plus the infinitive. In the past, though, it's a bit more complex, but luckily this is a role that you can easily follow, isn't it? You have the modal verb, must, plus have, the auxiliary, and then the past participle. As we can easily see here, must have been awesome. Must have been triggers the use of the verb been, which is the past participle of to be. All right. Now, since we left things off on the note of necessity, let's have a look at need. Again, a few examples, a few contexts of its use. I need to use your phone. They needed to leave early so as not to miss their flight. You don't need to start right now. She didn't need to book in advance because there were plenty of available hotels. And we needn't have bought him a present. His birthday is in 2 months. At least we didn't spend too much on it. There's always a silver lining, isn't there? Once again, challenge yourselves. Think about what each of these sentences expresses. Is it something that is necessary now or something that was necessary in the past? Is it something that was not necessary at all or is not necessary right now? Press pause, think about the solution on your own, and then we'll discuss the answers together. When you're ready, hit play again. And here we go. In the first couple of examples, we are trying to express necessity. In the first one, obviously in the present, and in the second one, obviously in the past. So there's no great mystery over there, just as there is no great mystery with the lack of necessity in the present. You don't need to start right now. Great. The nuanced aspect of need comes when we express lack of necessity in the past or about the past. Let's have a look at these two examples. We'll start with she didn't need to book in advance because there were plenty of available hotels. The implication of the sentence is that when she arrived at her destination, she noticed that there were available hotels. And since she didn't have a booking, a reservation, then things worked out well for her. So it wasn't necessary for her to book in advance. And luckily for her, she could find a hotel over there. It wasn't necessary for her to book, and she didn't do it. She was lucky enough to find hotels on the spot. Whereas in the last example, we needn't have bought him a present. Well, the implication is that we did, because the speaker says at least we didn't spend too much on it. So we did buy a present. And this is where the two forms of the past of need differ. We needn't have bought basically implies that we did buy a present even though it wasn't necessary. It wasn't necessary, but we did it. With didn't need to, we express something that wasn't necessary and we didn't do it, and everything is fine. It's a win-win situation. So she didn't need to book in advance, not necessary, not done, all went out fine. We needn't have bought, not necessary, but done. We did buy him a present. And here are the forms. In the present, very simple, need or don't need, plus the to infinitive. Whereas in the past, we have these two forms, didn't need to, needn't have done, which, like I said, have a nuance to them. And if you're looking to improve to an advanced or proficient level, you should really consider these differences in meanings when you use your verb need. Okay, now on to the last part, should and had better. We'll start with the context. We've got enough supplies. We should be okay for the next few days. They shouldn't make any rash decisions right now. You had better read the fine print before signing any contract. And I should have apologized for the harsh words I said much sooner. Challenge yourselves. Try to figure out which of these meanings corresponds to each of the sentences listed below. Press pause, think about it carefully, and then see if we can confirm your expectations together after you hit play again. Take your time, there's really no need to rush. Now, here we go. For the first sentence, we are trying to express an assumption. The fact that we have enough supplies right now indicates to me that for the following days, we're going to be fine. I can't tell for sure, but I can make an assumption about the future. And when we want to make such assumptions, we can easily use should. They shouldn't make any rash decisions right now expresses a piece of advice, a very good one, actually. And this is perhaps the most discussed use of the verb should as a modal verb in pre-intermediate levels. People are aware that it can express advice. Most of my students expect that had better is a perfect synonym to should. Yes and no. Rather, it's a bit of a matter of finesse here, because when you tell somebody that they had better do something, had better is more ominous if you want. It's firmer. It gives a firmer advice, strong advice, up to the point of warning, if you will. So, what I'm telling you is that probably because you're a little superficial, not you, the person that the sentence refers to, you need to read the contract and the fine print very carefully. I'm not just giving you a casual piece of advice, I'm actually trying to get you to read the fine print. So I'm urging you to do that. That's why I'm using had better instead of should. I should have apologized for the harsh words, sorry. This is a matter of regret. Should can do that in the past or related to a past action or event. And if you change the subject, instead of I, for example, you could use they should have apologized for their harsh words much sooner, it turns into criticism. So the subject is no longer the speaker. They don't refer to themselves. They are referring to somebody else, and that's when they are criticizing. Criticism and regret, very similar as meanings, but they do refer to different people than the speaker if you are criticizing. All right. Now let's look at the forms. Very simple. Both should and had better are followed by the base form, the infinitive in the present. And if you look at the last example, you'll see the rule we were discussing when we talked about must as well. Should, so the modal verb, plus the auxiliary have, plus the past participle. Okay, let me know if you have any questions, anything that comes to mind. If you'd like to be notified about the lessons that I'm going to post in the future, click subscribe, click the notification bell, and we'll keep in touch. And also to keep in touch, leave me a comment telling me how you felt, how useful the lesson was, and whether you have any suggestions for me to discuss in the future. So if you'd like me to approach a particular topic, feel free to let me know. I'd like to be able to help as much as I can. All right. Have a lovely, lovely day and see you soon. Bye.